Okay, I'm going to be doing a chain slack inspection and adjustment on this 2025 Honda CB750 Hornet. I'm going to start out with the slack inspection. If you want to skip ahead to the chain adjustment, go ahead. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first step does state to make sure the ignition is off, the bike is supported on its side stand, and that the bike is in neutral. We'll go ahead and get that done. Pretty sure that's neutral. Next step is to check the slack on the lower run of the chain in between the rear and the front sprockets. Looks to be about here. This rubber bracket or brace, I don't know what this is, on the swing arm, right where it starts or ends, whatever you want to call it, right there, right here, right below the tire information. We'll measure it from there. That distance, that slack needs to be 25 to 35 millimeters, or in freedom units, inches, that's going to be 1 to 1.4. The perspective from the camera is going to be a little bit different from mine. I'll do my best to kind of relay it. So holding this here, you can see the hub of this link. Little circle there is at about 2.25. And then if I lift that up, you can see it kind of goes all the way to 0.75 inches. That would mean we're at about a 1.5 inch slack. I don't know if that's what you call it, but 1.5 inches of slack is what we've got. That's just a little too much slack. We need to tighten it up a little bit. We gotta loosen the rear axle nuts. This left one, that's gonna be a 19. Don't know if you can see that. 19 millimeter. And this one underneath the exhaust, that's gonna be a 24 millimeter. Don't know if you can see that. Remember that the bike is on the side stand and in neutral, so be very careful when you're loosening anything or handling the bike in any way, because it could roll forward and off of its side stand. So that's probably loose enough there. Next, you'll want to loosen the drive chain adjuster lock nuts. That's these bad boys right here. They seem to be a 12 millimeter. And these, yep, that one's not on there very strong. So loosen it up, and that's on both sides of the bike. Here's the other one, just in case you needed to see it. And that one, it's not on there very tight either. All right, now for a little bit of an explanation. We're going to adjust the chain by tightening or loosening the drive chain adjuster bolt, and that's on both sides. This is the drive chain adjusting lock nut. This is the drive chain adjusting bolt. Moving the wheel back tightens it. Moving the wheel forward loosens it. Once you have the bolt in the place that you want it, the lock nut locks everything in place. In my case, my chain is too slack. I need to tighten it, which means the wheel needs to come back, which means I need to push the bracket back. And in this case, I believe I would be loosening that bolt there. Now that bolt is a 10 millimeter, so I got my 10 millimeter wrench. And since I want to push it back, like I said, I loosen it, lefty-loosey. That pushes it back. And whatever you turn it on this side, you have to do the exact same amount to the other side. So if I turn this, and they suggest going in quarter turns, I believe. So if I start halfway through and I turn it all the way down, that's 1/4 turn. If I start all the way up and I turn it halfway, that's still 1/4 turn. If I start all the way up and go all the way down, that should be a half turn. So right now this left bolt is moved 1/2 turn. So I got to go do that to the other side, and I'm going to do that to the other side. But another thing you want to look out for, there's markers here to mark where the bracket sits. When everything is said and done, just like you turned this one and that one the same amount, they should match up to the same markers, but if they don't, you need to make sure they match up to the same markers on each side. That's kind of an indication that you might not have turned them all the way equally. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I think I've got these drive chain bolts where I want them. So when I started, the back end of this bracket that the ruler corner is touching, that was just at the fourth mark from the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It basically matched right up with it. As you can see, it did not move much. I only turned it about 1 full turn plus another quarter turn on each side. The other side matches just like that, right behind that fourth mark from measuring from this part of the bracket. So what I've done, and this may not be your end result once you tighten everything back up, but before I tighten everything up, you can always kind of test what it's going to look like. If you recall, we were at 1.5 inches of play. Again, perspective is a little off here, but you can see measuring from that same spot we were earlier, the chain is kind of sitting around 1 7/8, 1 7/8. I think that's how you say that. And then if I lift it up, it goes, pushing it, it goes 7/8. So 1 7/8, a little further down, and then 7/8, pushing it to the top. So we're at about just a little bit over that inch of slack, which is right where we want to be. And again, as you can see, it did not take much movement whatsoever. It still kind of even looks like it's at that quarter mark, or that fourth mark from the back, but I'm telling you, it is moved just ever so slightly, and that's all it takes. That one's a little hard to see, but you can kind of see the same thing. So now what we got to do is try to lock that in. Okay, so before tightening anything else down, the instructions do say to tighten down the rear axle nut to the specified torque. The service manual, which you should have seen on your screen, 88 Newton meters or 65 foot-pounds of torque. Again, freedom units, that's what I'm used to, so that's what it's set to. I'm going to go ahead and get that all tightened up. Remember, 19 on this side, 24 on the other. Again, be very careful because the bike's still in neutral and on its side stand. All right, next step is to seat the drive chain adjusting bolts. Again, these ones snugly against the adjusting plate. Since we were tightening this chain, I don't see why they wouldn't already be, but maybe tightening the axle nut, maybe that kind of loosened them up. So I'm just going to do what it says and slightly turn it. It is pushed up against it. I'm going to go to the other side and do the same. And yep, it is snug, so I'm not going to mess with that too much, again, in order to try to keep the slack that we were aiming for. All right, next is the drive chain adjuster lock nuts. I think that's what they're called. This says to torque them to the specified torque, which I believe was 27 Newton meters and 20 foot-pounds. I don't have a device that can do that, so these are going to get eyeballed. Don't take that advice if you don't have to. So when we go to tighten the lock nut, it's pretty easy. You would think you could just tighten it, and for the most part you can, but you also want to get your wrench on the bolt and do your best to hold it in its place while you tighten up on the lock nut. That way when you're tightening the lock nut, it's not moving the bolt at the same time. You want that bolt to stay in the exact same spot you lined it up at. Same with the other side. All right, next step is to recheck the drive chain slack. And this should likely be, I think, the final check, because everything that we loosened up is tightened down again. So let's see where we're at. Same spot, same hub of that link. It's still at 1 7/8, and we move it up. Seems a little tighter, but honestly, if we push it down, it hits the 2. If we push it up, goes past the 1. I think we're golden right there. I think I am happy with that slack. Okay, next up it does say to check the free wheel rotation. Not exactly sure what that means. I think it just means make sure the rear wheel spins freely independent of the clutch and everything else. So it is a neutral, and that spins pretty freely if you ask me. So I'm gonna say that's fine. I don't think it's supposed to spin like the damn Price is Right or Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, it looks okay to me. Okay, and the final step, it says to check the chain wear indicator. That's these fun little colors right here. Of course, you can see where the dealer marked it initially. This bike is only at, I think, maybe 1,600 miles, so still spry, fresh, and dandy. There's no way this thing needs a new chain. Even though, if you look at the bracket and the wear indicator, the end, from my perspective, it seems past to the red, but again, we did not move it that much. It was maybe there before, so you see how much space was there. I'm guessing this is going off of the middle of that bracket, so I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it! I'm not worried about any of this! I think this is just fine. It's got, say, probably a couple thousand more miles in it. We should be okay. You don't have to take my advice on that. If you feel like you need to change out your chain, go for it. I could be completely wrong. Yeah, if you don't see me posting anymore, I probably died because I was supposed to change that chain out. So give me an F in the chat. So that's it, and that's that. Lube up your chain if you haven't done that in a while. Mine I did just last weekend, the weekend before. It's good to go. I'm about to go take this thing on a test ride, make sure it's not going to come flying off at low speeds, at high speeds. I think I should be golden. But yeah, hopefully I was able to help y'all kind of understand, even if you don't listen or look at any of my instructions, at least you have the shop manual that I posted as the video went along. You can make your own decisions as you go along. So yeah, cool. Thanks for hanging out. I'll throw in my other motorcycles, show them some love. I got my wife's Honda Gyro here, which I love. I ride that a little more than she does. It's got 3 wheels. It's a real odd bike. Let me know if you want to see a video on this thing. I'm going to do one eventually. And then classic good old Himalayan. That thing's treated me very well throughout the years. Yeah, I kind of want to sell it. I kind of want to keep it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but yeah, those are my other motorcycles. They're just as fun, if not more fun in their own ways than this motorcycle, but yeah, this one's still super fun. Other Honda CB750 Hornet owners, let me know if this helped you, if the repair went well for you. Post up some pictures of your bikes. Reach out to me on all the fun socials. You can find me pretty much at Cycle Social, and I'll catch y'all next time.